Here is the review of my Mercury short shaft 9.9 horsepower 4-stroke engine. So I've been using this for about 2 years now. I just did my own oil change on it. I've got the prop off because I'm going to be installing a cupped prop, which will allow me to run on a plane in a higher position and not cavitate. And I just want to talk to you about the motor. There's only one thing about this motor that I would say you need to know, and that is, just like most small engines, they can be a little finicky to start. I wouldn't really say it's a cold starting engine, but there is a process you have to follow, and then I'll show you kind of what the performance is from there. So to start the engine, you do have the choke right here, but the first step is to make sure on your gas tank that you've got your ventilation open. So you got to make sure that it can breathe. This little engine needs to be absolutely jacked full of gas at all times. Pump it until it is tight and you really can't pump it anymore. So see, look at how much this is taking. Quite a bit. All right, so now we're pumped up tight. That's the first step. The second step is to pull the choke out. Then you're going to push the electric start until it starts. Now, the reason why I bought the Mercury 99 is because at the time it was the only, and it might still be true, it's the only 9.9 horse engine that comes with an electric start and of course the pull cord. If your battery goes dead, you can always use the pull cord, which I have had to do, and it works fantastic. But as I fish hard and I'm starting and stopping a lot, so I love the electric start, and that's why I bought this. So you'll hit the electric start, keep the choke out, and let it just run and run and run. And this is your throttler. So if you hold this in and turn the throttle, you will be able to rev up the engine without engaging the propeller. So that's what you got to do. Hold this in, turn the throttle, full blast, and let it rev, and just let it run and run and run. When you think it's ran long enough, run it a few seconds more. Then you're going to push the choke back in. Then you'll put it back in neutral. This will kick out, and now you can put the motor in gear, and you should be fine. If you go to put the motor in gear and the motor shuts off, you got to go back, turn it back on, push this in, rev it, and let it run and run and run and run and run. Once this process is done and the engine now will start and run every time, you should be good your whole day of fishing. Okay, so now that I've explained to you the process, you can hear I got my water hose on my muff on the bottom of the motor. I'm gonna go ahead and do it in order and let you see it in action. So let's see how it works. So I've got the ball, remember to pump that up till it's tight. Make sure this is in the run position. Here's your kill switch. I can't tell you how many times this has been in the off position and I thought, what in the heck is wrong with my motor? That was in the off position. So make sure that's in the on position. All right. Now we'll make sure it's in neutral. If it's not in neutral, it will not start. So neutral, run position, choke out, push the electric start. Keep the choke out, push the throttle button in, rev it up, then push the choke in and let it run. Did you see how I let it run at high idle speed? Now it's purring like a kitten, and now I can put it in gear and it works just fine. But what you will find is that if you ever have to tilt this all the way up and then back down again while you're fishing, it might still not want to crank. And you might have to start the whole process over again as if it was the first time cranking it for the day. The reason being is when you raise this motor all the way up, some of the gasoline runs back in the line and it loses its prime. As long as you keep this motor primed, it will run just great. I'm not complaining, just explaining how you're going to get the most out of your Mercury 99. The other thing I like about this engine is when it's idling or at a very slow speed, it's really not that loud. So a lot of times when I put it in gear and I'm just slowly easing out of somewhere and my buddy is still fishing, he'll still hook up on fish because it isn't really that loud of an engine.